Chapter 7. Together Again. But Kate did not stay at home for long. Soon she was back in London, and she often went out with her sister Pippa. William was busy too. His mother, Princess Diana, was born on the 1st of July, 1961, and he and his brother Harry wanted to have a concert for her on the 1st of July. On that day, 63,000 people came to the concert, with singers like Elton John, Rod Stewart, and P. Diddy, and millions watched it on TV around the world. And there was an important guest at the concert too, Kate Middleton. She did not sit next to William, but she was not far away, and she had a happy smile on her face. After 2 months, they were back together again. Next month, Kate and William flew to the beautiful islands of the Seychelles for a week. This time, no friends came with them on their holiday. But their visit was over quickly, and they were soon back to the busy world of work. William spent 12 weeks with the Royal Air Force, RAF, and learned to fly. Kate was at the ceremony when he graduated. Then he had 2 months with the Royal Navy. In autumn 2008, he went to the RAF again, and this time he learned to fly a helicopter. His father, Prince Charles, his brother, Prince Harry, and his father's brother, Prince Andrew, can all fly helicopters, and William wanted very much to do so too. Kate worked for her parents' business and sometimes took photographs for them. The newspapers watched and waited. There were many photos of Kate, and lots of people were interested in her clothes. "Beautiful," said some, but "not very exciting," said others. In January 2010, William finished his helicopter training. He then went to the beautiful island of Anglesey in North Wales to train with the RAF in search and rescue work. He lived in a little house on a farm, and Kate often visited him. William's training in search and rescue ended in September 2010, and soon after that, he and Kate went to Kenya for a 3-week holiday. It was the end of William's training and the beginning of a new life for the two of them. Chapter 8. The Engagement. For some of the time in Kenya, William and Kate were with friends. But near the end of the holiday, they had some time together. Kate did not know it, but in his bag, William had a very special ring. It was his mother's engagement ring. A beautiful gold ring with a big blue sapphire and little diamonds. William carried it carefully in his bag all through the holiday. Then, on the 19th of October 2010, he asked Kate to marry him, and he gave her the ring. Kate, of course, said yes. The young couple came back to the UK, but they could not tell the exciting news to their friends, and Kate could not wear the ring. In public, they lived their usual lives and did not talk about their engagement. At last, on the 16th of November, the couple came on TV at St. James's Palace in London, and the news was out. They were engaged. Kate wore a beautiful blue dress, the same colour as the sapphire in her ring. The two young people looked very happy. William talked about his mother's ring. Of course, his mother, Princess Diana, died in 1997. But for him, his mother was there, at the engagement, because of the ring. William asked Kate to marry him, but he asked two other people about the wedding. He asked Kate's father, Michael Middleton, soon after he asked Kate. And he asked the Queen. A royal prince or princess must ask the Queen before they can marry. Happily, Michael Middleton said yes, and the Queen did too. And of course, there were lots of questions. Where is the wedding going to be? Who is coming? And for a lot of people, the most important question: what is the bride going to wear? Chapter 9. Getting Ready. Now the question was not, are they going to get married? But when are they going to get married? The answer came a week later. The wedding day was Friday the 29th of April, 2011, in Westminster Abbey. Of course, there was now a lot to do. Firstly, there was the question of the guests. The most important person in the royal family, the Queen, asked about 1,900 people to the wedding. Many of these were family and friends, but she also asked other kings and queens from countries around the world. A wedding ring was made for Kate from Welsh gold. William's mother, Diana, had a wedding ring of Welsh gold, and his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, and her mother did too. A bride needs bridesmaids. These young women help her with her dress and flowers, and a groom needs a special helper too. He is called a best man. William's brother Harry was his best man, and Kate's sister Pippa was her most important bridesmaid. Then there were 4 other little girls and 2 little boys. The children were from the royal family or from the families of William's friends. Then there was the cake and the flowers. William and Kate had 8 trees in the Abbey too. But of course, everybody wanted to know about the bride's dress. "Who is going to make it?" they asked. The months went quickly by, and soon it was April. On Thursday, the 28th of April, thousands of people began to arrive in London. They waited near Westminster Abbey and on the Mall because they wanted to see everything on Friday morning. But there were some famous visitors to the Mall that night. First, Prince Charles's second wife, the Duchess of Cornwall, came and talked to people. "We're all ready for tomorrow. It's wonderful, and we're all very excited," she said. And later, Prince William came out and talked to people too. He looked happy and said, "Hello," and "thank you" to the visitors. Lots of people took photos. Now there was just one night before the wedding. Chapter 10. The Wedding. And so the day of the royal wedding began. It was a warm day with no rain. Hundreds of thousands of people waited on the streets, and 5,000 police officers were at work. In different parts of London, there were more than 8,000 radio and TV reporters from different countries, ready to tell people around the world about the wedding. At 8 a.m., there was news from Buckingham Palace. William and Kate had new titles, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. So Kate was now a duchess, but not a princess. Then guests began to arrive at Westminster Abbey. People on the street looked for famous guests. "Look, there's David and Victoria Beckham. Isn't that Elton John? Look at Princess Beatrice's hat." There were famous people, beautiful clothes, and lots of interesting hats. Near to 10:30, William and Harry came into the Abbey. Soon after that, Kate's mother arrived, and then the Queen and Prince Philip. Then, at 10:51, people saw Kate for the first time when she left the hotel and got into a Rolls-Royce car with her father. And 10 minutes later, she arrived at the famous Abbey, and everyone could see her clothes for the first time. "What a beautiful dress!" the TV reporters said excitedly. And it's by a British designer called Sarah Burton. The dress was white, with a big skirt and long lace sleeves. Kate wore a white veil over her face and a diamond tiara on her head. In her hands, she carried small white flowers, and on her feet, she had beautiful wedding shoes. Kate walked slowly into the Abbey with her father. Her sister Pippa walked behind, and she carefully carried the train, the long part at the back of the dress. Pippa wore a special white dress too. There were hundreds of white and green flowers in the Abbey, and there were 8 tall trees. Kate and her father walked past all the guests, and then Kate stood next to William. "You look beautiful," he said to his bride. The ceremony took a little more than an hour. Then the new Duke and Duchess of Cambridge walked out of the Abbey with Prince Harry, Pippa, the 6 children, Kate's parents, Prince Charles, and the Duchess of Cornwall. The bride and groom got into an open gold and black carriage to go back to Buckingham Palace. Everybody could see Kate's beautiful dress and the couple's happy smiles. The other important guests from the royal family, and Carol and Michael Middleton, drove behind in different carriages. After the carriages arrived at the palace, thousands of people began to walk along the Mall to the palace. Police officers walked slowly in front of them. Then everyone watched the balcony and waited for the royal couple. A royal bride and groom first came onto the balcony at Buckingham Palace in 1858. William's parents, Prince Charles and Princess Diana, famously kissed on the balcony in 1981. So, when Kate and William came onto the balcony, everyone called, "Kiss, kiss, kiss." They smiled and kissed, and later they kissed again. There was a lot of noise. One little bridesmaid, 3 years old, put her hands over her ears. Then there were photographs of the bride and groom together and with their families. And after that, a party for 650 people. The guests were in 19 rooms at the palace. The royal couple met a lot of the guests, and Prince Charles made a speech. And there were 2 wedding cakes. One was a big white cake. It was made from 17 different cakes, and it had hundreds of flowers on it. And Prince William asked for a second cake, a chocolate cake. When William was a boy, his grandmother gave him this cake at Windsor Castle on his visits from Eton. That evening, there was a dinner for 300 guests at Buckingham Palace. The guests sat at tables with the names of Kate and William's special places, like Liwa in Kenya and St Andrews. There were speeches from Prince Harry, Michael Middleton, and Prince William, and from 2 of William's friends. And then the party began. In one of the biggest rooms in the palace, guests talked and danced into the morning. At 3 a.m., the bride and groom left, and the party ended. Of course, the party at the palace was not the only party in the UK. The day of the wedding was a holiday, and there were more than 5,000 street parties. In St Andrews, more than 2,000 people came together to have a party and to watch the wedding on a big TV. David Cameron, the British Prime Minister, had a party near his house in Downing Street for older people and school children, and his wife made cakes for the party. In cities and towns across the UK, people closed their streets and came together for the day. They ate, drank, talked, and watched the wedding together. And there were parties in other places too. In 180 countries, many millions of people watched the pictures from London, from Afghanistan to China, and from India to Canada. Many people watched the wedding with their friends or families. In Times Square in New York City, 3 couples got married just after William and Kate. But in New York City, of course, it was 6 a.m. when the royal wedding began, so the weddings in Times Square were very early in the morning. It was a wonderful day for William and Kate, and around the world, millions of people enjoyed it with them. Chapter 11. And After. Many couples have a honeymoon, a holiday together after their wedding. Where are William and Kate going to go on honeymoon? People asked. But there was no news from Buckingham Palace. On Saturday, the 30th of April, the day after the wedding, William and Kate left Buckingham Palace in a helicopter. But after 3 days away, they went back to Anglesey. On Tuesday, William was back at work with the search and rescue team. 10 days after the wedding, William and Kate flew to the Seychelles for 10 days. On the quiet islands, they could have more time together and enjoy the sun, away from reporters and photographers. Then it was back to Anglesey, and a new life for Kate in the royal family. And before long, they had their first visit as a royal couple to Canada from the 30th of June to the 8th of July. Thousands of people came to see the young couple. William and Kate went to official ceremonies, but they also talked to a lot of people, young and old. And William gave speeches in English and French. When they left Canada, they went to California for 3 days. At a big dinner in Los Angeles, they met Jennifer Lopez, Nicole Kidman, and other people from the cinema. But they also spent time at inner city arts. Children from families with little money go there to have lessons in dance and art. The Duke and Duchess watched the dances and made pictures with the children. On these visits, reporters are often very interested in Kate, her hair, her shoes, and her dresses. Sometimes she wears clothes from special designers, but she often wears things from British shops. Of course, when some young women see Kate in a beautiful new dress, they go to the nearest big city and get the same dress. Often these Kate dresses all go from the shops in 2 or 3 hours. So, Kate is very good news for some British clothes businesses. What next for the young couple? William has his work with the search and rescue team, and William and Kate must also make visits and go to ceremonies because they are part of the royal family. These official visits are often to places far from Britain, like Malaysia, Singapore, or the Solomon Islands. Here the couple can learn about the lives of different people, an important thing for a future king and queen. Of course, many organizations ask for help from people in the royal family. Prince William helps a mountain rescue organization, and he often does work for the Football Association too. When William was a child, he sometimes visited special places for people without homes in London. These were part of the Centrepoint organisation. Centrepoint was always very important to his mother Diana, and William gives some of his time to it too. William wanted to learn about the very different world of people without homes. So, in December 2009, he slept on the cold streets of London for 1 night. The Duchess now helps 4 organisations too. One of the organisations is called East Anglia Children's Hospice. It helps very ill children and their families. One of the other organisations is the National Portrait Gallery. This is in a big building in London, and it has thousands of pictures of people. Of course, Kate knows a lot about art history, and she enjoys working with this organisation. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge also helped the people in the British Olympic Games team in the summer of 2012. It was a very busy time for the British royal family. They went to the big Olympic ceremonies in London, and they talked to many famous visitors from countries around the world. When they got engaged, Kate said, "Family is very important to me." On the 22nd of July 2013, their son George was born. And on the 2nd of May 2015, their daughter Charlotte was born. It is not an easy life in the royal family, but perhaps Kate, William, George, and Charlotte can have a happy future. Everybody hopes so. And of course, they are going to be in the news for many years to come.